नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। शृण्वतां स्वकतः कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तन हृदयन्तस्थो हि भद्राणि विदुनोति सुहृत्सतां नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 3, Text 12, 13 and 14. Text 12. Pashya prayantir abhavanyo yoshito apyalankritah kanta sakavaruttashah yasham brajadibhi sthiti kantamanditam nabho vimaneh kalaham sapandubih. पश्य प्रयान्तिरभवान्ययोषितो अप्यलङ्कृताः कान्तसखावरुत्तसाः यासां वृषादिभिः स्थितिकण्ठमण्डितं नभो विमानैः कलहंसपाण्डुभिः पश्य प्रयान्तिरभवान्ययोषितो अप्यलङ्कृताः कान्तसखावरुत्तसाः यासां व्रजादिभिः स्थितिकण्ठमण्डितं नभो विमानैः कलहंसपाण्डुभिः. Pashya, just see, Prayantihi, going, Abhava, O never born, Anya Yoshitaha, other women, Api, certainly, Alankritaha, ornamented, Kanta Sakaha, with their husbands and friends, Varuttashaha, in large numbers, Yasham, of them, Vrajadibihi, flying, Shitikanta, O blue-throated one, Manditam, decorated, Nabaha, the sky, Vimanaihi, with airplanes, Kalahamsa, swans, Pandubihi, white. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O never born, O blue-throated one, not only my relatives but also other women, dressed in nice clothes and decorated with ornaments, are going there with their husbands and friends. Just see how their flocks of white airplanes have made the entire sky very beautiful. Purport. Here, Lord Shiva is addressed as Abhava, which means one who is never born. Although generally he is known as Bhava, one who is born, Rudra, Lord Shiva is actually born from between eyes of Brahma, who is called Swayambhu because he is not born of any human being or material nature, but is born directly from the lotus flower which grows from the abdomen of Lord Vishnu. When Lord Shiva is addressed here as Abhava, this may be taken to mean one who has never felt material miseries. Sati wanted to impress upon her husband that even those who are not related to her father were also going, to say nothing of herself, who was intimately related with him. Lord Shiva is addressed here as blue-throated. Lord Shiva drank an ocean of poison and kept it in his throat, not swallowing it or allowing it to go down his stomach, and thus his throat became blue. Since then, he has been known as Neelakanta or blue-throated. The reason that Lord Shiva drank an ocean of poison was for others' benefit. When the ocean was churned by the demigods and demons, the churning at first produced poison. So, because the poisonous ocean might have affected others who were not so advanced, Lord Shiva drank all the ocean water. In other words, he could drink such a great amount of poison for others' benefit. And now, since his wife was personally requesting him to go to her father's house, even if he did not wish to give that permission, he should do so out of his great kindness. Verse 13. Katam sutaya pitrageha kautukam nishamya deha suravaryanengate अनाहुता अप्यभियन्ति सौहृदं भर्तुर्घुरोर्देहकृतश्च केतनम् कथं सुताय पितृगेह कौतुकं निशम्य देहस्तुरवर्यनिङ्गते अनाहुता अपि अभियन्ति सौहृदं भर्तुर्गुरोर्देहकृतश्च केतनम् कथं सुताय पत्पितृगेह कौतुकं निशम्य देहस्तुरवर्यनिङ्गते अनाहुता अभियन्ति सौहृदं भर्तुर्गुरोर्देहकृतश्च केतनम् Katam, how Sutayaha of a daughter Pitrigeha Kautukam, the festival in the house of her father Nishamya, hearing Deha, the body, Suravarya, O best of demigods, Na, not, Ingate, disturbed, Anahutaha, without being called, Api, even, Abhiyanti, goes, Sauhridam, a friend, Barthu, of the husband, Guroho, of the spiritual master, Dehe Kritaha, of the father, Cha, and Ketanam, the house. Translation and purport by Stephen Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta from Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. O best of the demigods, how can the body of a daughter remain undisturbed when she hears that some festive event is taking place in her father's house? Even though you may be considering that I have not been invited, there is no harm if one goes to the house of one's friend, husband, spiritual master, or father without invitation. Text 14. तन्मे प्रसीदेदम् अमर्त्यवाञ्छितं कर्तुं भवान् कारुणिको बतार्हति त्वयात्मनो हृदेऽधम् अदभ्रचक्षुषा निरूपिता मानुग्रहान याचितः तन्मे प्रसीदेदम् अमर्त्यवञ्चितं कर्तुं भवान् कारुणिकभतार्हति त्वयात्मनो हृदेदम् अदभ्रचक्षुषा निरूपितः मानुग्रहान याचितः तन्मे प्रसीदिदम् अमर्त्यवाञ्छितं कर्तुं भवान् कारुणिको बतार्हति त्वयात्मनो हृदेऽहम् अदभ्रचक्षुषा निरूपिता मानुग्रहान याचितः tat therefore me unto me prasida please be kind idam this amartya O immortal Lord, Vanchitam, desire, Kartum, to do, Bhavan, your honor, Karunikaha, kind, Bata, O Lord, Arhati, is able, Tvaya, by you, Atmanaha, of your own body, Arde, in the half, Aham, I, Adabra Chakshusha, having all knowledge, Nirupita, am situated, Ma, to me, Anugrahana, please show kindness, Yachitaha, requested. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta from Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. O immortal Shiva, please be kind towards me and fulfill my desire. You've accepted me as half of your body. Therefore, please show kindness towards me and accept my request. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namni Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurani Vicharane Nirvisesha Shunnadi Pashta Deshtarani Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. I humbly bow down to all Dasamal Vaishnavas. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to purify myself. So we are in chapter 4, chapter 3 of Canto 4, text 12 to 14. And this is conversations between Mother Sati and Lord Shiva. So just as a context here, Lord Shiva, Lord Sati, Lord Shiva has been asked by Sati Devi to be able to go to her husband's, to her father's place because there is a big festivity going on. And just as a backdrop for this, Daksha is considered as one of the Prajapatis. He is one of the 9 Prajapatis. When Lord Brahma was given this task of populating this world with living entities, he wanted to create progeny, and from him, from initially as Manasa Kumaras, came the 4 Kumaras, and the 4 Kumaras had nothing to do with this material world, and they didn't want to be grown up as well. So they completely took to the path of spiritual realization, and they were not least bit interested in taking to the material platform where they wanted to create new progeny. And then from the eyebrows, from between the eyebrows of Lord Brahma, Lord Rudra or Lord Shiva was born, and he was always accompanied by Bhuta, Preta, Pisacha, and he was very always wailing, and hence he was called Rudra. So he was also so then Brahma again created from his mind, he created 10 children, and 9 of them were called Prajapatis, who were specifically designated to populate this earth with living entities. And the word Praja means one who Praja and progenitor are from the same root word, and then their goal is to populate this material world with living entities. And the tenth son which Brahma had was Narada Muni. And as we know, Narada Muni was least bit interested in the material life, and he wanted to take to the path of spiritual life as well. So these nine Prajapatis, and Daksha is one of the Prajapatis. The name Daksha itself means one who is a very expert. So Daksha Prajapati was himself a very elevated personality, but just to understand in this material world, any amount of elevation, even the son of Brahma, if he is not properly situated in the proper consciousness, he offends Vaishnavas, and in this case, he offended Lord Shiva by not inviting him to the festivities. And there's a backstory to this. Even though Lord Shiva is the son-in-law of Daksha Prajapati, it's been mentioned that Lord Shiva is the one other name for Lord Shiva is Avaduta. And the characteristics of Avaduta is that they are least bit interested in this material world, and they are not so much captivated by the processes of having respect for materialistic people. And so the Lord Shiva is always in the transcended state where he does not care about the material possessions and material courtesies and everything. So it's mentioned that Lord Shiva at one point did not offer respects to Daksha Prajapati, and that is the reason why Daksha Prajapati is bearing this grudge and not inviting him to the festivity which is happening. So, with that context, just to go a little bit further on the word avaduta. So, we have multiple examples of avadutas which we see in the Srimad Bhagavatam. One such avaduta which comes to my mind is Lord Rishabhadeva. So, Lord Rishabhadeva was completely not involved in any materialistic pursuits, and to the outer world, the avadutas may even seem like madmen, and but even though but they, at the crux of their heart, they are so surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and to the path of spiritual realization. And there are so many followers for Lord Rishabhadeva, and similarly Lord Shiva is considered to be an avaduta. And so it's mentioned by Srila Prabhupada in this purport that there are two names which he's addressing Lord Shiva with. One is Abhava, and one is Shitakanta, which is also called Neelakanta or blue-throated one. So the word Abhava is little surprising to be used, because Lord Shiva is called Bhava because he is actually born between the eyes of Brahma. So that's the name of Lord Shiva. And that is why Lord Parvati is also called Bhavani, because one whose wife of Lord Shiva is called is called Bhavani. So that's why Parvati is also called Bhavani. So why is Srimad Bhagavatam mentioning this as Abhava? Srila Prabhupada gives this explanation that Lord Shiva is not attacked by the miseries of this material world, and in one context he's also Abhava. He's not we've been attacked by these three modes of material nature, and he doesn't have any material miseries. So that's why he's called Abhava. So in the context of the word Bhava, Abhava, I got reminded of a pastime from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life. So there was this Pandit called Keshava Kashmiri, and he had gone through all over India, and he had won over many people in scholarly debates, and he's been hailed as one of the foremost scholars of in the entire India. And then he comes to Navadvip, and then he gets to hear about this person called Nimai Pandit, and who was a grammar teacher. And people say that he's very scholarly. So he wanted to show how scholarly he was, and he invited Nimai Pandit for a scholarly debate. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at that point, as Nimai Pandit, was very humble, and he said, "I am just a grammar teacher, and I'm not ready for any scholarly debates." And then he convinced him, and then he wanted to show his prowess, and then he composed about 100 verses glorifying Mother Ganga. And in that, he used the rhyme and rhythm of how Ganga flows, and it was so pleasing and so beautiful to hear. So everybody in the audience were captivated by Keshava Kashmiri's scholarly aptitude. And then, so he asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at that point, Nimai Pandit, how did he do? And then Nimai Pandit, all the while listening to this, he said, it was good, but there were mistakes in some part. So Keshav Kashmir was completely taken aback. And then Nima Pandit pointed out to the 64th verse, and he said, you used Bhavani Bharta. So the word Bhavani itself means Lord Shiva, and when you say Bhavani Bharta, it means like husband of wife of Lord Shiva, which is like alluding to him in the third person. So he was completely taken aback, and he understood the scholarly aptitude of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, just by winning over Keshava Kashmiri, who had just gone through all corners of India and then won over scholarly debates, by just defeating him, he established that he's the topmost scholar in India. So that's one pastime which came to my mind when the word Bhavani was discussed. So that's another name for Lord Shiva, which is Bhava. But here in this purport, Srila Prabhupada is explaining that he's called Abhava here because he's not attacked by the three material miseries, and he's not the miseries of this material world. So the second name which Lord Shiva has been addressed here is Shitikanta, which is also called Neelakanta. So when this event actually happened when the Samudra Manthan Leela was happening, and the Devas and the Daityas, they have formed a team, and they are actually churning this milk ocean. And Lord Vishnu has become the Kurma avatar, and he's become the fulcrum for this mountain, the Mandara mountain, and they are churning. So initially, when the milk ocean was churned, there was a lot of poison which came, and the poison came and completely engulfed the entire ocean. And it was almost as if that all living entities would die because of this. So, out of great compassion, Lord Shiva drank the entire ocean water, and he held it in his neck. And because of that, his neck became blue, and hence he was called blue-throated or Neelakanta. Even now, we see Neelakanta Shiva. We have a lot of temples where Shiva is worshipped as Neelakanta. And so one might wonder, why did Lord Shiva do this? And this is a characteristic of a great Vaishnava, where he is always compassionate and he is working for the welfare or the benefits of others. And so one other example which comes to my mind in this regard is Dadichi Muni. Dadichi Muni, so the only way Vritrashur could be killed was to make a Vajra Ayudh from the spine of Dadichi Muni. So Indra approached Dadichi Muni and asked him so that he could get his spine to be able to form this Vajra Ayudh, which we could kill Vritrasur, which eventually means that Dadichi Muni had to be killed. So the Vedic culture was so elevated at that point that Dadichi Muni saw the bigger picture and he accepted. And it is mentioned that his bones from his spine were taken, and this Ayuda called Vajra Ayuda was formed. And then with that, Vritrasura was killed. So this is going on to say that the great personalities or Vaishnavas, they're always looking to see how we can help other living entities. So in that context, Lord Shiva is also called Neelakanta. So just on these two verses, so Lord Mother Sati is not ordinary person. She is Mahamaya herself, but in this she's taking up this Leela as the wife of Lord Shiva and the daughter of Taksha Prajapati, and she's showing up her innocence here and convincing Lord Shiva to take her to her father's house, and she's showing all these different reasonings into why one should go uninvited. So she's saying if one goes to to one's friend's house, to one's husband's house, to a spiritual master, you don't need to take permission or you don't need to have any invitation. And she is showing like how others are leaving in flocks to the great festivity which is happening in Daksha Prajapati's home. So that's a leela which Mother Parvati as Lord Sati Devi is showing in this verses as well. So couple of points, two names which are being addressed to Lord Shiva, which is Abhava and Nilakanta, and that's the overall context of these three verses which we discussed today.